Very disappointed on against Guatemala. Not the ideal start. And we've just said we have to win the next two. And the next one is tomorrow against Guadeloupe. So we need a reaction from the team, a reaction from everybody. The mood is, I think after the game, very disappointing, but the mood has lifted. And we're preparing for the game tomorrow. And hopefully a better performance and result.
Could Tyrese Campbell and Keinan Davis be the perfect striker duo to lead Jamaica into World Cup 2026? Join Premier 7 right now for the big chat. It is quality rather than quantity that matters. This is a quote written directly by Seneca as it points finger directly to the Jamaica men's national team with the question in mind, does Jamaica have enough quality to book their spot in the World Cup in 2026? Well, greetings and welcome to Premier 7 everyone. I am your host, Ryan Nelson, coming to you today with an important video surrounding the strikers position of the national team with the topic in mind, Tyrese Campbell and Keinan Davis, the striker duo Jamaica needs for World Cup 2026. Now, bear in mind, people, this is a recommendation, but we all know that these two players do have what it takes to play for Jamaica based on eligibility. Now, from this topic, I am going to just talk about the players based on their last season performances in the sense of a review. Then I do a comparison with them as a duo to others. Also, how would they improve the national team? And in the realest of realest sense, what if we only get one? All right, so people, before I dive into the first aspect of the video, Premier 7 do have 2,028 subscribers. The channel is growing, so if you're new, please go ahead and subscribe. And if you are already a subscriber, then you know what to do. The channel is on the road to reach 3,000 subscribers, and I would love to reach this target before the end of July. All right, so the first point is Campbell and Davis player seasons review. Now, let's talk about Campbell first. Seeing that we can understand that this guy has been performing quite decent. We can understand as well that he has not hit his prime age as yet. He's 25, so maybe he needs a lot more or a bit more development, but based on his age profile and how he's performing in the championship, he looks quite decent. I mean, this guy has made about 36 appearances with 11 goals thereabout, backed up by about 2 assists. And from that 11 amount of goals scored, within the mixture, he converted about 5 to 6 penalties. And that is something key for a striker, which helped his team as well to go into the playoffs. But unfortunately, not make it to the Premier League. I mean, let's be real. I think this guy would have deserved a move as well. Seeing that he has been performing up to par in a team which is not a Premier League based team, but they have been there before. However, having a player like a Tyrese Campbell, he reminds me a little bit of Sturridge. And I think with him developing over time, it will be something quite decent. Also, this guy is fast, he's left-footed, and without a doubt, he's clinical. So it's not just a poacher. The thing is about this guy, he drops into pockets of spaces, link up plays, and launches counter-attacks. And Jamaica is known for doing that in a way. So think of him as the name I mentioned earlier out, a Daniel Sturridge. Technical, intelligent, and decisive. I mean, he would thrive alongside creative players like Leon Bailey. Should we get a Mason Greenwood? I have heard that he has received his Jamaican passport. This would be a perfect lineup, front three for Jamaica as well. And, with him being into the starting 11, along with these two guys, then we can say, let's relax some more and see Jamaica perform with these three persons up front. Now, speaking about Tyrese Campbell, it looks good. How about a Keinan Davis? I have talked about this player before. I mean, he's not that old compared to the age of Tyrese Campbell. There's not a huge gap between both players. Keinan Davis is about 27 years old and he plays for Udinese in the Serie A. 25 appearances, about 3 goals and 2 assists. So he more so would be like a rotational option for the national team. When it matters the most, I think this guy would be a good fit. Also, seeing that he reminds me of an Antonio based on physicality, then he will be a player who I believe will do well in physical matchups. So he will be valuable when it comes on to a lot of games. But I mean, this guy is not only a muscular player, but his hold-up play is quite decent with his back to goal or in front of goal. He stands at 6'2", so you know he's a very powerful player who possesses intelligent move as well, and he will be decent in the air. And his layoff passes with his back to goal is quite remarkable. So I would see him as an upgrade to a Michail Antonio with more structure, less injury prone, seeing that Antonio was injured in the past, but he has played thereafter. But you know, Antonio looks to me better in a West Ham team, and he has passed his best. That is my opinion. You can let me know what you think as well. And seeing that Jamaica needs to improve in terms of linking up plays and doing well in the final third as well. Not only a Tyrese Campbell is decent at doing this, but the likes of a Keinan Davis, it is quite similar. This guy may not be the best goal scorer, but I mean, having him as a rotational option, I think he would cause opposition teams to worry, because if you don't have Tyrese Campbell, you have a Keinan Davis, and playing in different situations, I mean, these two guys will be quite sufficient for the national team. Now, I can understand that some persons would be saying, I mean, we don't have these guys. Why throwing aside who we have? We have to pay attention to what is best for the national team. And by way of that, let me just do a comparison between the duo of a Campbell and Davis versus Antonio and Nicholson, because I think these two duos has played the most for the Jamaica men's national team based on recency. So it would be the best comparison to do. So, I mean, let's talk about Antonio. Antonio is within his 30s, right? And this guy, I know he has recovered very fast from the accident that he met in, but he struggles for fitness and he struggles to dominate for Jamaica. One of his best goals he scored was in the Copa America. I think it was against Venezuela or Ecuador, one of those teams. And it looks quite good, but I think Antonio has passed it. You know, he has not been the best, but there's something to prove. But we don't want to believe in something to prove. We want the quality to be on the pitch right now. Nicholson as another option. He's confident enough to note. He is one of Jamaica's leading goal scorers, compared alongside the likes of Luton Shelton, who passed away some years ago. This guy is quite young as well. I don't think he reached 26 or 27, but he's along that pathway as well. So he will be the same age profile like a Keinan Davis or a Tyrese Campbell. But quality to talk about, he's not in the best of the best leagues, not like Antonio, who plays for West Ham. This guy plays in the Mexican League. And not to say it's just because of the Mexican League. He has not been the best quality player for Jamaica either. We struggled in the World Cup qualifiers with him. He have the power to score the goals, but he wastes good amount of chances, and Jamaica cannot afford to miss out on scoring goals, because even though we're going to play against Curacao, Trinidad, and another Caribbean team in the World Cup qualifiers, third round, all teams will try their best to qualify. It is a nitty-gritty part, and I think these two guys, as a combination in an Antonio and a Nicholson, would not give enough contribution in terms of goals, assists, being better in the air, providing more threats, being more consistent or intelligence compared to a Tyrese Campbell or Keinan Davis. Seeing that these guys are actively playing football. But I mean, these two guys are better options than the likes of I've said it before, an Antonio and a Nicholson. And even to talk about a Warner Brown, He's talented, but he lacks the experience at the senior level. He has scored a few goals for the national team, but we saw where he struggles in the likes of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. It can be a case that our midfield has been rocking back too much with the likes of Isaac Hayden been missing. But I mean, the quality of a player in terms of linking up plays, holding on to the ball, doing the necessary, I think Warner Brown needs development in that case. And Tyrese Campbell and Keinan Davis is above these two. So, I mean, both of these players, they are European based, they're in the prime age, and they have complementary strength, and their tactics are different. They can tactically improve the national team as well because Tyrese Campbell brings pace, he brings flair, he brings creativity. Davis brings power, physicality, and control. One on the left, one on the right. What's the problem? These two guys would provide the balance for the national team. I mean, people that think these two guys have been seen as being perfect examples that national team would need. So how about smashing a like on the video and let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. Now, I spoke about them separately or as a duo, but how would these guys improve Jamaica? Let's say in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Tactically, I would think about starting a Tyrese Campbell. He's more provable than a Keinan Davis, but not to say he would be best in all games. So against weaker team or in transition-based games, let's say against Trinidad, Tyrese Campbell is a very crucial player. His link-up plays would be quite well. I mean, he will drop into the half spaces, link up with midfielders, and drive counter-attacks. I mean, with the pace of Greenwood, if we get him, as I've said before, and Leon Bailey, even a Demarai Gray, knowing that also in the midfield we have a Jonathan Russell, who has an eyes on goal, he can more so create avenues or spaces for those players to score, and he can also contribute not only with assists but also with goals. I mean, Bailey on the right, Greenwood, well, let's say Bailey on the left, Greenwood on the right. These two wide players would have the chance, so let's say cut in, make chances created for Tyrese Campbell, whether on the ground or in the air, and I think this guy will do the same for them. I believe in flexibility, so even the case that he can even drift to the right based on certain type of games, with even Greenwood dropping into the striker's position and Bailey remaining on the left. It is a tactical approach that Coach McLaren can even look at, seeing that he's not the best tactician around the game. So these guys would have made his job a bit more easier. So alongside, let's say, not having Tyrese Campbell start based on a different type of game, let's say a game that is more defensive and physical, Keinan Davis could more so be the starting option because his back to goal is a strength and it allows for him to progress the ball higher up the pitch. So he can be the target man for the national team. He would bring others into play while dragging the defense. I mean, as I've said before, it's like a Lukaku type as well, but also like an Antonio. So we understand that these two guys are good in terms of counter-attacking football, but where the physical concern is considered, he will be good with his back to goal. His link-up play is commendable, and he will bring other players into the team. He will keep the shape of the national team. He will do the necessaries. I don't think he's a person who will be holding on to the ball for too long, taking too long to pass the ball. He will just make his eye contact with the necessary players and link up plays where deemed necessary. So these are the reasons why I think that this guy and also with a Tyrese Campbell would be two key targets that Jamaica should get. I have been hearing news that Jamaica will be getting 4 players before September. I think these two guys would do well, but I mean, some persons will be saying that Jamaica needs more than just strikers. Because guess what? I think we could get a Mason Greenwood in before, let's say 2 weeks before, which give them time to prepare. Not to say then, oh, because they're good enough, they don't need time to prepare. Every time preparation is in place, it will be massive. I think we'll get a Mason Greenwood and also maybe we get a Lewis Baker. And I'm not sure about a Max Aarons, but maybe a Rico Lewis and a striker. So a striker, Mason Greenwood, Rico Lewis, and Lewis Baker, right? But let's be real now, people. Let's talk about in a 4-4-2 formation then. So it's like an Antonio and a Sturridge, right? I talk about how these guys would play. So, Davis would bruise the likes of the defenders, occupying the center backs quite often and creating that chance for Campbell to rest on the shoulders of those persons. Whereas he's good with the flicks and the knocks and his pace and his technique, he have a good eye on the goal for shooting. So I mean, these guys providing that balance with opposite feet, different style of play, different way of playing. I mean, with the chemistry linking up these two guys, the guys who are sitting behind them would not have much to do, because I think these two guys would score the goals where deemed necessary. All right, so let's be real now. What if we only get one? What if Jamaica can only secure one? I mentioned 4 names, right? So the striker is going to be either a Campbell or a Davis. For me, that would be my preferable choice. Maybe some persons would say go with a Cameron Archer along with a Campbell or a Davis. I mean, other persons can do have a say, of course, because this is what Premier 7 is about, giving persons that opportunity to talk. All right, so Campbell plus Antonio. I mean, this could work because Campbell would be himself, and Antonio would be like a Keinan Davis with more experience. So the thing is now, the only problem is that Antonio is not clicking and is inconsistent for Jamaica. But he would not more so be like a liability. Maybe he would. But let's talk about what if we get a Davis and a Cameron Archer. All for promises, but Archer isn't as sharp as proven as yet. Even though he's played in the Premier League, it would not be the ideal striking options that I would go for. And maybe Warner Brothers be around this team as a third option striker. But for me personally, the bottom line is that I would want to have these 2 players. But realistically speaking, Jamaica may not be available to get the chance of getting these 2 players. Well, they may not have the chance to get these 2 players. But I mean, with the right combination of these players, I think Jamaica cannot miss out on these players. So the bottom line is that Jamaica has to seek opportunities where it is necessary. I mean, Campbell and Davis are the rightful combinations with experience, age, and tactical fit. They are proven players. They would be the best options that Jamaica should go for. So I would love to get more than 4, then let's say 5 players for the national team. So people, nothing much to say again in the terms of ending the video, but I would like to know what you think about the topic. Tyrese Campbell and Keinan Davis, the striker duo Jamaica needs before World Cup qualifiers. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, people, and please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. I want to achieve 3,000 subs before the end of July. And also, if you are a subscriber, please share the content so other persons can see. So people, you all take care, comment, goodbye, until we meet again.